Next, we're gonna teach Abby how to do a back squat. So she's got her feet about shoulder width apart with an engaged core and spine, and the PVC pipe is resting back behind her shoulders. And what she is going to do is she's going to bend at her hip and at her knee and sit her butt back, keeping her knees just at her toes. You don't want to go too far forward, keeping that chest nice and up. And this is activating the quadriceps femoris, the adductor magnus, and the gluteus maximus. And this is at the tibiofemoral and acetabular femoral joint in the sagittal plane through the transverse or medial lateral axis. Good job, Abby. All right, for the next variation of this exercise, this is the front squat. So Abby's got a similar position with her toes pointing forward and her legs shoulder width apart and an engaged core. But this time she's got the PVC pipe in front of her, kind of resting on her shoulders. And what she's going to do is she's going to sit her butt back and flex the knees and come back up through that knee flexion and then knee extension. In the sagittal plane along the transverse or medial lateral axis at the acetabular joint and tibiofemoral joint. Good job, Abby. All right, next we're gonna teach Abby how to do dumbbell squats. So she's got her legs shoulder width apart, her core is all engaged, and she has straight legs and her arms are extended, resting a resting length. And what she is going to do is she is going to bend her knees as she squats down, keeping her chest up and her knees just right at her toes. She doesn't want to go too far forward, but doesn't want to go too far behind. Keeping that weight nice and distributed. And the muscles in this exercise that are being activated are the gluteus maximus and the quadriceps femoris. And this is at the tibiofemoral and the acetabular femoral joint. And this is knee flexion and then knee extension when she comes back up. And then this is the sagittal plane in the along the transverse or the medial lateral axis. Good job, Abby. All right, for this next variation, these are kettlebell swings, but we've got a dumbbell here instead, so we've just got one today. And Abby's got kind of about the same posture. Her legs can be a little more than shoulder width apart, so she can really get that deep stretch through the exercise and deep range of motion. And so what she's gonna do is she's gonna sit her butt back and bend her knees. And then as she comes up, she's really bringing her pelvis forward and squeezing her glutes. Just like that. Good job, Abby. Now we're gonna do external rotation of the shoulder again, but this time at 90-90. And so Abby's gonna do, she's got her toes pointing forward and shoulder width apart, engaged in core, and she's brought her elbow in line with her shoulder, which is slightly bent at like 90 degrees. And so now what she's gonna do is she's gonna bring her hand up just like so, and then back down. And just a correction on the joint that is being used in this exercise is the humeral ulnar joint, not the glenohumeral humor. That was my mistake the last time. But the teres minor and the infraspinatus are activated more in this variation because of the 90-90, because they are resisting the downward pull of gravity and the weight more than the biceps were in the last variation. All right, next we're teaching Abby how to do shoulder shrugs, which are just scapular elevation. So she's got her feet shoulder width apart, toes pointing forward, and then her arms just parallel or perpendicular to the ground. And what she's gonna do, she's all relaxed with her shoulders down, and then she's going to bring her shoulders up like she's shrugging, and then slowly back down. And in this exercise, she's using the trapezius at the glenohumeral joint. Again, this is scapular elevation in the frontal plane along the anterior posterior axis. Good job, Abby. All right, today we're teaching Abby how to do external rotation of the shoulder. She's using a dumbbell. And what she is going to do is she's got her feet shoulder width apart and engaged core, and she's going to bring the dumbbell to about 90 degrees from her humerus and her forearm. And then what she is going to do is she is going to turn, keep her elbow joint kind of near the same as her body, and turn it away and then back, and that's the externally rotating your shoulder. And the muscles that are being activated are the infraspinatus and the teres minor. This is at the glenohumeral joint in the transverse plane along the longitudinal axis. And the gravity is pulling the weight down, so she's using her biceps a little more in this variation. Good job, Abby. Right. Today we're teaching Abby how to do shoulder abduction using the cable. So we've set the cable at about 10 pounds, and this little point of axis is down here at the bottom. So she's gonna move the weight with her arm. She's gonna have about shoulder width apart, neutral spine engaging her core, with straight legs and just relaxed arms for now. And then she's gonna contract her deltoid muscles, and mostly her middle deltoid, and she's going to raise the weight in her arm up to the side and then slowly back down. Just like that. You can have a little bend in your elbow if you would like. It doesn't have to be perfectly straight, but eliminating any momentum being used and just really isolating that middle deltoid. Good job, Abby. All right, this is the next variation of shoulder abduction. So Abby's gonna do, she's gonna stand shoulder width apart and engage her core with straight legs and straight arms, and she can have a little bend in her elbow if she would like. And then she has her palms facing towards her, and then she is going to lift her arm and abduct it away from her body. And in this, she's engaging her middle deltoid at the glenohumeral joint. And this is the shoulder abduction in the frontal plane along the anterior posterior axis. And then Abby's gonna do 8 of them to complete the set. Good job, Abby.